All right. Welcome back, you beautiful souls. This is James, also known as the Oni Zerd. In this will be part 4 to what if Izuku Midoriya was born with a copy quirk in a world where only females are born with an activated quirk gene. Basically, females are the only ones that are going to be able to actually develop a quirk. And men do have a quirk gene, but it's a passive gene. Means they can pass their mother's quirk down to their children. And if they end up having a girl, then they could potentially inherit their grandmother's quirk from their dad's side, or their mother's quirk, or a fusion of the two. But if he ends up having a son, the quirk gene gets weaker, because he doesn't pass the passive gene that he has down to his son. They inherit their mother's quirk gene as a passive trait. So, how Izuku came about in this, he was actually born with an activated quirk gene that was mutated to give him the abilities to copy. So, that being said, let's get into our story. Where we last left off, Izuku had just lost his parents, and All Might offered Izuku to come live with her so that she can better protect him and really go in with the training. So we last left off where it was 2 months before Izuku's 15th birthday, which is around the start of the anime. So that being said, we're going to cut to a month after Izuku's birthday, and he really didn't. They didn't really celebrate. He didn't really celebrate this year because he just lost his parents, and he was dealing with the funeral services for them and everything. Basically getting their last rites and stuff done, and he really didn't feel like celebrating his first birthday without his parents. So he's still upset, but he has mentioned to All Might during their trainings that he thanks her for taking him in, and her being there has really helped him. He's not all right. He's not 100% all right, but if he didn't have All Might, he would probably have lost it. So All Might then has so All Might and him do continue their training, and she suggests that he goes to see a therapist again, to start seeing a therapist again to deal with the loss of his parents, and to mourn, so that he can mourn their passing properly. Then one day comes. One day comes a week later, and there's a knock at the door, and Izuku's like, "I'll get it, All Might," and he opens the door, and there's a woman standing there, and she's like, "Huh, I didn't know Toshinori had a son." And Izuku's like, "Oh my, I think it's for you." And All Might, she comes out because they had just eaten and they were cleaning up and they were finishing cleaning up and All Might was finishing like wiping down the table. And when she gets there, she's like, "Oh, I thought you weren't going to be here for like another month." And Izuku's like looking at All Might, and he's like, Who is this All Might?" And the lady says, "Toshinora. I didn't think Toshinora. I didn't think that you had a son. You kept this from me." And All Might's like, "Oh no, he's not mine." And Izuku kind of gets a sullen look on his face, and All Might tells him, he's like, "Midoriya, you can go out and just be safe. Make sure that you're always in public view, and make sure you're always with the government handlers." And so Izuku's like, "Yeah, All Might, I'll be safe. You don't have to worry about me." And we haven't heard about anything since that day. And the lady's there is a little bit confused. And after Izuku leaves, she asks All Might, one moment, I've got to come up with her name because I can't just keep saying woman. Alright, sorry about that interruption, but I just had to come up with a name, and I did. So All Might, she's like, "Mamoru, that was the young man." And Mamoru asks, like, "So what's he doing at your place? Did you, like," and All Might, she's like, "Well, kid's parents were attacked and they were killed in a villain attack. And because of who he is, I thought it would be best because he could have been involved with it." And Mamoru's like, "Oh, okay, so wait, that was the boy that has a quirk? That's the boy that has a quirk and that has a copy quirk?" And she, like, All Might's like, "Yes, like he's a good kid, and well, I've talked to a few other colleagues and I've thought about it, and I believe your quirk could, like, especially now, could really help keep him safe. I initially asked you for him to copy your quirk so that when he copied my quirk, that he would be able to use when he gets my quirk, he would be able to it wouldn't hurt him as much." And Mamoru's like, "Really? Well, when should he get back? Because, like, from what you've told me," and a couple hours have passed, like, this conversation, because it's not something you can just go over a little bit, but just in one conversation, she explains the type of kid he is, and Mamoru's like, "Well, definitely, like, if you think it'll help keep him safe, like, in what happened to his parents, no kid should have to, like, bury their parents at such a young age." And Momura has lost her parents, so she understands what Izuku's going through right now, because she did lose her parents at a young age, not as young as Izuku did, but she still was, like, she was barely an adult when her parents passed away. But they didn't die from, like, a villain attack. They passed away because of a drunk driver. Because, yes, the US does have a bit of an issue with that, but that's neither here nor there. So Izuku, went out to, like, a coffee shop and to, like, maybe find something to do while All Might entertains her guest. So when Izuku gets home, All Might introduces Izuku properly to Mimura and explains that this is one of my colleagues from the States that I told you about. And Izuku's like, really? Like, so what's her quirk? And then All Might's like, Midoriya. And then Izuku turns to Mimura and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Miss Mimura. And Mimura puts her finger up to his lips and she says, it's fine, young man. I understand. I lost my parents. I lost my parents too when I was young. Not as young as you, but I get what's going on right now. And it's only been a couple of months, so you don't have to talk about it. But in any case, my quirk, it's a type of shock absorption quirk, and from what Toshinari here has told me about who's potentially after you, I do believe you would be able to use this. Like, this quirk would keep you safe, and even if you don't want it, please copy it, because if I left here and you got hurt because you didn't have like my quirk, I'd feel bad. And this kind of shocks Izuku, and he's like, you're not concerned that I'm a guy with a quirk? And Mora kind of starts laughing. He's like, I've never really cared about that, if you're a guy or a girl. I've dealt with those. Like, I don't think just because you're a guy you'll be a quirk. I've heard the rumors about that, and I've always thought, like, maybe that guy, if he would have had someone in his life, and it seems like you do, he wouldn't have turned out to be a villain. And he's just like, well, in that case, then can you explain your quirk? Because I do need to know how it works for me to be able to copy it. And so Mimura explains her quirk to him, and Izuku's like, dang, I don't have any slots in the other quirk I picked up. I want to hold on to that. So he says, give me a moment, and he closes his eyes, and he purges. He just like closes his eyes for a split second, because even though Izuku can do this with his emotional state, he does have to think about it so he doesn't accidentally erase more than one quirk. So he gets rid of Eraserhead's quirk, and he copies Momura's quirk. And he's like, so how do I know it worked? And she's like, well, it's kind of like it's a little bit like a mutation quirk. It's always on. And Asuka's like, really? And all of a sudden, All Might like buffs up, and she throws a punch at Izuku, and Izuku like blocks it, and he's like, what was that for? And All Might's like, did you feel anything? And Izuku's like, no, but why would you punch me? And All Might like starts laughing, and he's like, she's like, ha ha ha, kid. So you did actually copy the quirk. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I threw a 5% smash at you, but you were able to like absorb all of that. And he's like, whoa, really? I didn't even notice. And so Izuku, this does cheer up Izuku a little bit, and Memoris does spend like a couple of hours like helping Izuku out to better understand the quirk, and tells him a few things that he can do with it. If like it's active, it's already active all the time, but if he wants to, she's learned how to, where she can basically move the like all of the absorption into like one part of her body to basically make like she she demonstrates it. She puts all the shock absorption into her hand, and basically puts her hand on Izuku's shoulder, and Izuku's like, "Whoa, you're." Like, allows Izuku to touch her hand, and it's like, "Whoa, your hand seems a little tough." And she's like, "Yeah, like, if you do something like that, you can do this." And she basically punches like one of the brick walls in like this little fighting area that they had prepared, and basically makes like an indentation. And Izuku's like, "What? That's crazy. I would have to." And All Might's like, "It's fine, young Midoriya. She knows she's a good friend of mine, and she does know about my quirk." And he's gonna say, "Yeah, when I use All Might's quirk, I'd have to use All Might's quirk to do something like that." And then she kind of breathes and like coughs a little bit, and she's like, "Though there is one downside to it. If you hold it for too long in one spot, it can knock the wind out of you when you release it." And Izuku's like, "Okay, noted." So Izuku, he's feeling a little bit better because Nomura has been like I said, a few extra hours explaining her quirk, but she's more so like kind of giving him a little bit of advice and explain to like how she lost her parents when she was a young adult, like she's barely an adult when her parents passed. And when they are parting ways and everything, Nomura like hands Izuku her number, and it's like, "If you ever feeling down and you want to talk to someone, do give me a call, young man. I will pick up. Just text me real quick so I can have your number." And Izuku texts the number, and she's like, "See, I got your number, so, and I'll program in, and if you call, if I'm not in the middle of a fight, I'll pick up." And Izuku thanks her, and he's like, she basically puts her hand on his head and says, "And I mean it, young man. If you need to talk about your parents with someone that would understand, I'll be there for you. I'll be an open ear for you. If you can't talk to like this knucklehead here," like grabbing All Might and giving her a knuckle sandwich, and All Might's like, "Laura, like, God, not in front of the kid. We've got to keep up a good image in front of it." And they all like kind of laugh, and so Mora makes her way out. So now we're like about a month into the anime at this point. And the next day, Izuku gets up early, and he actually makes breakfast for himself and All Might. And when All Might wakes up, she's like, "Oh my God, Midoriya, like, Izuku, I'm sorry, I kind of overslept." And Izuku's like, "It's fine, All Might. My mom did teach me how to cook and everything, and you don't have to always be worried." And she's like, "I'm going to worry about you, young man. Like, and I've been thinking. There's something I've been thinking about for the past ever since like that night. I would actually like you to be the 9th successor to my quirk. I've been steadily losing like my time limit, and I don't think I won't be able to do hero work that much longer. So your body's already ready to be able to withstand some of the power from One for All that I will pass down to you. The only thing is, do you want my quirk? Would you, because I feel like with the shock absorption quirk, you would be able to utilize it, and you already know how to do it. And he's just like, so do I need to like get rid of a quirk? And she's like, no, you don't necessarily need to, but it might be best. And she's like, in any case, here, eat this, and pulls one of her hairs out. And Izuku's like, what is this for? And she's like, well, part of it you have to digest. Your body has to digest some of my DNA for me to be able to pass the quirk down to you. And Izuku's like, okay, but this is a little weird. And he eats the hair, and he's like, I don't feel any different. And he basically goes into his full body one for all in the first stage. And she's like, I thought you didn't feel anything. He's like, yeah, but this is the normal one. And she's like, oh God, we probably just made a huge mistake. Like, as she's thinking this. And a few hours pass, and Izuku like starts feeling exhilarating, and he's like, I think it's happened. And I feel really, really weird. And he's like, I feel really weird. I feel energized. I feel like I'm on top of the world. And All Might's like, yeah, that will subside in a moment. Give it a couple of minutes and it'll be complete. And so Izuku, he's like, okay, so like the quirk you just gave me acts like the one that I've copied and been using, so I do this. And he activates one for all, accidentally doing both at the same time, and he's like, ow. And All Might's like, are you okay, Midoriya? Izuku, are you okay? And Izuku's like, it's fine, it's just, I think you weren't kidding. Your quirk's a whole nother beast when you actually have it at full power. And she's like, yeah, it gets stronger the more it passes on. And then Izuku says, but something feels off, something feels weird. And he's like, wait a minute. He powers down and he tries to power back up into just one of them. And he can't. He has to activate both of them at the same time. And Izuku's like, All Might, I think they fused. And All Might's like, what do you mean? And Izuku's like, well, I think the copied version fused with the one I inherited. And because Izuku's not dumb in this, he has had years of training under the number one hero, and All Might's not stupid. Like, he does have like combat genius capabilities, and he's smart, but in canon he's smart, but he's not an idiot. He's kind of an idiot in some things. Like, he can't really explain things too well, which honestly I don't know how the hell he has a teaching job at UA. But regardless, in this, so she's like, that's crazy. So what can that possibly mean? And he's like, well, I don't know, but I think I'm gonna have to train like this a little bit. So, sidebar with this. What happened was, when he inherited One for All, it enhanced his copy quirk. And by extension, it enhanced the One for All that he had, which evolved it to be able to fuse. And because Izuku was thinking about using One for All, but he wasn't differentiating between the two at the time, he unintentionally made a fusion quirk. And now Izuku has two quirks that are permanent. He has the One for All that he inherited from All Might, and he has his copy quirk. And so his One for All quirk enhanced, because One for All enhances the quirk that you have. So, because of the copy quirk enhancing one for all, it enhanced it to a point to where what some of you I've talked, the question that I asked in Discord, should Izuku get one for all, and the two one for alls kind of fuse into a new version of one for all, and we'll call this new version one for all prime. Basically, now Izuku can pass this quirk down to someone, and then if he doesn't know this just yet, but he will be able to pass it on to he'll be able to pass a one for all on to anyone. And basically he can pass on like I did in my original, but this is a little different, to where they can actually pass a one for all down. But one for all prime is a whole nother beast. So Izuku's like, whoa. And he's like, well, I think I need to train with this. And so they do. This is what they go over. We're about a month into the anime, so we're about 2 weeks into the 10-month training arc. So Izuku spends the next 6 months, which will put him at 6.5 months of the training arc. He finally does it, and he's like, I did it. Here's All Might from the house, and she comes running out into the backyard, and she's like, what did you do, young Midoriya? What's going on? And Izuku's like, I think I did it. I figured it out. And she's like, really? You did? And she knows what Izuku's been trying to do. And he's like, wait a minute, if I can fuse that, maybe I can fuse one for all and make fusion quirks. And she's like, what did you do? And he's like, well, I kind of did this. And he walks over to All Might, and he's like, All Might, I think I can make fusion quirks from the quirks that I have and pass them on to someone. And this is a little concerning to All Might, because she's like, oh my god, did I just create another one for all? And Izuku looks at her, and he's like, All Might, you don't have to worry. I'm not going to turn out like that guy. If anything, my goal is, because I'm the 9th successor, it's my duty to bring him in, right? If you don't handle him, it's my duty to do so, right? And All Might breathes out, and he's like, whew, thank God. And she's like, yes, that's right, young Midoriya. So Izuku, what did you figure out? And he's like, well, I think I can do this. And he's like, he basically creates a one for all and shock absorption quirk, and basically puts his hand on one for all, and he's like, I'm not sure if this will work, but you should feel it the moment it happens. And Izuku gives All Might a fusion quirk, and it's a fusion of the first generation one for all and the shock absorption. And she's like, what did you just do, young man? I feel different. It feels like my skin's a little tight. And he's like, yeah, that's the shock absorption side of it. And she's like, wait, what? You just gave me a quirk? And Izuku's like, yeah, ever since my parents passed away, I've been in a stick, and you've always, this past year has it's been rough, but without you, I wouldn't be on my way to go to UA, and I really do want to be a hero. And you giving me your quirk, you said like, you didn't say, but like, I knew when you passed it that your time limit would go down. And so Izuku's like, so here, all right, at least you can have, at least you'll have like something that you'll be protected as well, even if everything. And she's like, huh, young man, you didn't need to do this, but you should probably keep this a secret like you do One for All. And Izuku's like, yeah, I kind of figured this. I know how this would turn out. Especially if I have a quirk similar to, like, your nemesis. And, well, I guess now he's my nemesis as well, right? And All Might kind of smiles and he's like, so you're okay? And Izuku's like, yeah, I'm sad, but I've called and talked to Mamora, and she did do what she said she would, and she's helped me get over it a little bit, and I probably won't ever feel like I did before, but I'll be all right. And Izuku smiles, and All Might asks, and he's like, so I take it you're okay because you're smiling? And it's like, yeah, but if I don't smile, I feel like I'll break down. And also, a hero's supposed to smile, right? And oh my, she starts laughing at this. And Ezekiel's like, so what are we going to do now? And All Might's like, well, she's thinking, it's like, well, we need to train. You need to learn how to control my quirk, like, better. And he's like, yeah, like, so what else can I learn? Because I know how to use it properly. And she's like, well, it doesn't seem like you can regulate the power that well. Like, you're either all out or you're almost nothing at all with it. And he's just like, yeah. And it's like, well, so that's what we're going to focus on over the next 3.5 months, just so that you can get ready. And also, you still need to keep up with your studies, because I'm not going to pull any strings. If you want this, you've got to earn your spot at UA like everyone else, because I could get you in on recommendation, but I feel like it would be best for you if you took the entrance exam, so that you can prove to everyone that you didn't just get the spot. Your spot at UA wasn't handed to you, but you earned it. And Izuki's like, All Might, I definitely am going to take the entrance exam, and even if you offered me a recommendation, I wasn't going to take it anyway. I wanted to get in on my own merits. Well, you've helped me out a lot. So the next couple of months pass, and Izuku has learned how to change the percentage of One for All that he uses at any given moment, so he doesn't accidentally freaking kill someone when he punches them. So that being said, Izuku does show up to UA for the entrance exam, and he is a little nervous because there is a lot of girls around, and he doesn't, because of his past, he is a little wary of women that he doesn't really know. And he does see a few that he thinks are kind of cute, but he's like, shakes his head. He's like, no, I'm not here for that. I'm here to get in. And this is when, like, a girl stops him, and she's like, what are you doing here? Like, boys can't come into the school. Boys don't have quirks. And he's just like, just kind of, like, laughs and, like, brushes off. And he he like brushes her hand off and is like, out of my way. Like, I don't need to speak to you. I'm here to become a hero, and if this is how you treat people, you shouldn't be here. Like, you shouldn't treat anybody different just because of like their sex or like what of who they are. You should treat them. You should treat them based on their merits. And if that's something you can't comprehend, then you have no right to go to UA. And this kind of shocks the girl and surprises her that someone would dare speak to her like this. And she's like, whatever. And he's like, she's like, whatever. And Izuku's like, I'm sorry, Blondie, but I really do have to go. So Izuku like makes his way in, and he does the written test. He's going to ace it because he's had, what is it now? Almost 3.5, 4 years of training with the #1 hero. I'm pretty sure he's going to ace the written exam because he is a smart kid in of himself. And Izuku is he's sitting there in the thing, and he's just tapping his foot and everything when present Mike, when she's explaining the test. And then a girl stands up and she's like, pardon my interruptions, but there's 4 robots on the pamphlet. If this was an oversight, we gathered here at the top of our classes, and if this is an oversight on UA, this is very bad for you. This would be very bad for your reputation. And President Mike's like, you're right there, young lady. And then the girl turns around and it's like, you've been tapping your foot this entire time. It's distracting. And Izuku's like shocked at this because he thought she may say something to that fact that he's a boy. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize I was distracting other people. I'll stop now. And Katsuki is like, she didn't say anything about him being a boy. So I had to cut part of the other video off because the sound quality wasn't really good. I'm going to end the video here. I will go over the villain battle test in the next episode, and the quirk assessment test in also. I hope you guys enjoyed the double upload today, and like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you beautiful souls in the next video.